Come down onto your back and rest in constructive rest pose to begin. We'll have the knees bent so the soles of the feet are on the floor in line with the sit bones. Relaxing into the neutral pelvis and spine relationship. Taking the shoulder blades broad, arms wide enough away from the center line of the body that your shoulder blades rest flat on the mat. Turn your palms up. Take a moment to release down into the pull of gravity. So we do need to stabilize. We will stretch, but we need to stabilize. Think about if you're stretching a rubber band. The stretch comes because one side stays still and then you stretch the other side away from it. If both sides go, you won't get any stretch. So a stretch needs an anchor and then something, an anchor against which to pull. So we will begin by anchoring the inner core. Finding the diamond of the pelvic floor, which itself is anchored on the tailbone, the two sit bones, and the pubic bone. Essentially shaped like a diamond. Picture the diamond of the pelvic floor. And exhale, draw it in towards the center. You're pulling towards the perineum, and then pull the perineum gently towards the crown of the head. And relax that effort. And now picture your transversus abdominis belt wrapping around. Think of it starting at the spine on each side, wrapping around like a big broad belt and coming to buckle beneath the belly button. Use an exhale and gather that belt all the way around. As you snug the belt, the pelvis stays still, the lumbar spine stays still. And relax with the inhale. Return to the pelvic diamond. And exhale, draw all 4 points in towards the center and then lift the perineum towards the crown of the head. We're not moving the pelvis, just working with the soft tissue. Relax with the inhale. Picture the belt. And exhale, gather the belt around both sides. Snug it around the hips, lower back, lower waist. And relax. And again to the pelvic floor. Inhale. Exhale, draw the 4 points in. Maintain your pelvic floor and then wrap your belt around. And there you have your whole inner core working. And then soften that. Bring the arms down close to the sides. And with the inhale, bring the arms straight up towards the ceiling. Relax the shoulders. Observe your neutral lower back. Take an inhale. As you exhale, gather the inner core muscles and keep that neutral lumbar curve as you reach your arms back towards the wall behind you. There's your anchor. So when you anchor there, you're going to get some stretch in the armpits. Inhale, bring your arms up towards the ceiling. And then settle them down to the sides. And again, we'll take the arms up to vertical. Anchor and reach back with a neutral pelvis, neutral spine. And float the arms up. And lower the arms down to the sides. Once again, same thing. I want you to please observe your back ribs. You're going to anchor in the pelvis and lower back, but observe the back ribs as the arms reach back. Getting a little bit of an arch of the back ribs away from the mat. Keep your arms back, and as you exhale, reach your back ribs down into the mat and reestablish your neutral spine from tailbone all the way up. And inhale, arms float to the ceiling. Soften the shoulders and lower the arms down. Now we're going to add that imprinting of the ribs and not let the ribs pull away from the mat at all. Inhale, bring the arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, engage the inner core. Imprint your back ribs. Keep the pelvis and the ribs completely stable as you reach back. You should feel more stretch in the backs of the armpits. Maybe some stretch at the back of the neck. Maintain that for a moment. And float the arms up. Keep your arms vertical, make some nice loose circles, arms circling around the shoulder joint. And then reverse the circles. And then still the arms, and again we'll find the inner core. Knit your front ribs together, imagine them reaching towards your opposite back pockets. Imprint the back ribs and reach the arms back behind you. Very stable through the whole length of the spine. Observe your neutral lumbar. Keep engaging neutral spine, And then straighten your right leg out. Just slide the heel away from you. You're still having your neutral spine in place, feeling that length up the front of the right leg. Now, and increase that and stretch the front thigh by tilting the pelvis, and feel the stretch come in to the front of the right thigh and the lower back, where the lower back's reaching down. You may find an increase of stretch up in the shoulders also. So maintain that and breathe for a moment. And then relax back to the neutral. We're still stabilizing in neutral, just not with the pelvic tilt. And then float the arms up towards the ceiling. Relax the shoulders. And bring the right heel back in. Settle into neutral for a moment, soft shoulders. And re-engage the inner core, the knitting and imprinting of the ribs. Keeping a neutral spine, take your arms back towards the floor behind you. Don't let your ribs come up. Maintain. Continue to maintain your neutral pelvis and spine, and straighten the left leg out, sliding the heel along the floor. We still have our neutral lumbar. Start to feel the stretch in the front of the left thigh. We're keeping the back ribs imprinted down, and then tilt the pelvis to increase the stretch down the front of the left leg, and feel the stretch in the lower back as well. Feel the stretch in the armpits and the back of the neck. And release that pelvic tilt. Just come back to neutral. Keep your back ribs imprinting. Float the arms up to the ceiling. And bend the left knee. And then settle your arms down to your sides. Palms up. Open across the chest. Relax in the shoulders. Engage the inner core. Knit and imprint the ribs. We're going to take the right foot up with a neutral pelvis. Flex the foot and reach out through your heel, and then point your toes. Feel the stretch in the front of the ankle. Keep stabilizing your pelvis and lower the leg straight down. Don't let your back arch, but let that front thigh lengthen. And then stretch the leg up towards the ceiling. Keep pointing the toes. Keep your neutral. Don't go to a flat back. And then we're going to take the hands behind the thigh and flex the foot back, and reach up through the ball of the foot, then point the toes. Pull the toes back and stretch back. Reach up into a point and flex the toes back. Come into a flexion of the ankle one more time. Reach up and pull back with the toes. And see if you can go just a little higher with the leg without flattening the back. Re-engage your core. Relax your arms. Bend the knee. Maintain a neutral spine. Lower the right foot down. Keep the pelvis stable. And reset the inner core, the ribs knitting and imprinting. Keep your pelvis still as you lift the left foot up. And flex the foot and reach out through the heel. And then point the toes. Feel the stretch in the front of the ankle and lower the leg down towards the floor. But don't let your right back come up off the mat. Keep those back ribs down. Point long through the whole front of the left leg. And then come up. Keeping your neutral spine. Take your hands behind the thigh. Support with your inner core and flex the foot back, and then reach out through the ball of the foot and point the toes. Flex the toes back and then flex the whole foot back. Reach up to the ball of the foot and point. Pull the toes back and flex. One more time. And flex back, and then see if you can keep your neutral and bring your leg up a little higher. Wow, we're having some action here. It's boring. Okay, and then bend the knee, stay stable. And lower the foot back down. And relax. So we're still in neutral. I'm going to go through a similar sequence on exactly the same. Engage the inner core. Knit and imprint. Steady pelvis as you lift the right foot up. Flex the foot. Extend the leg out long. Point the toes and lower down, keeping your neutral pelvis and spine. Keep your ribs down. Reach the leg up, 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 up. Feel your stretch. And then we'll circle the ankle around and reverse. And reach up a little higher, but keep the tailbone down. Stabilize your pelvis, bend the knee, and lower the foot. Same thing with the left side. Stay anchored and lift. Flex your foot, extend out long to the heel. Point the toes, lower the leg down, keeping your neutral pelvis, neutral spine. Maintain your neutral pelvis and stretch the leg straight up. Don't let your back flatten. Support the leg and circle the ankle. And reverse. And stretch up a little higher. And then bend the knee. And release the foot down. Engage your inner core, tilt your pelvis, and then lift up into a pelvic twist. Roll through the spine, stretch the back of the neck, front of the thighs, and roll down slowly. Sorry, I just need to close these windows a bit. You can do another one. Find the inner core, tilt the pelvis, imprint the back ribs, and roll yourself up one vertebra at a time. Come up into the pelvic lift, and then rolling back down, scooping the belly in. Let's do it one more time. Inner core to support, tilt the pelvis, roll up, and bring it back down, and release and relax. You're going to bring the right knee into the chest, straighten the left leg out, and reach the right foot up to the ceiling. Engage around your kneecap, steady your pelvis, and circle the leg. Keep the pelvis still as you circle the right leg 5 times in each direction. Nice long stretch in the hamstring. Restabilize and reverse your circles. Now we're going to keep the leg straight. Reach up on the leg wherever you can comfortably do it with the left hand, and then pull into a twist, bringing your leg all the way over towards the left, and then releasing your right arm where it's comfortable to stretch. So it could be up quite high depending on your shoulder. And straighten out that right leg. Feel the hamstring stretch, feel the hip stretch. Feel the side of the body and the right side stretching. You can turn and look right and stretch your neck as well. And then let's bend the knee, then roll to the back with the right knee hugged into the chest. Bring the left knee in to join it, and straighten the right leg out onto the floor. Stabilize and reach your left leg straight up. Anchor the pelvis and the ribs, and circle the left leg 5 times each way, keeping the pelvis still and the rib cage anchored. And reverse. And then we'll bend the left knee. I'm sorry, we're not bending. We're keeping the leg straight, reaching up the leg, and going into the twist with the leg straight. And adjust the stretch of the left arm wherever it's comfortable. Look to the left. And big long stretch down the whole length of the left leg, going to stretch in the outer thigh, all the way up the side, armpit, neck. And then bend that knee and roll to your back. Hug both knees into the chest. And let your lower back flatten. Then we're going to find a neutral tabletop position. Prepare for the 100 with a neutral lower back. Engage the inner core. And imprint your ribs and press your palms down. Lift your head up, and if you like, you can extend the legs. And we'll pulse 5 times with the arms as we exhale. And then pulse 5 times with inhale. Exhale for 5, and inhale for 5. Exhale, and inhale. Exhale, and inhale. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. One more time, exhale, and inhale. one hand on each knee after you bent the knees, and then flop the legs out wide into some nice big hip circles. Wow, this is good. We need this water. And then reverse the circles. Okay, let's turn onto the stomach. And come all the way out onto the stomach with the arms fully extended. Forehead on the mat. Legs nice and long underneath you. Engage your inner core. Slide your wrists together. Press your palms down into the floor. Keep your elbows down on the mat and raise your chest and head down. Draw your shoulders down your back. Lift your breastbone forward away from the navel. And then release the head back down to the floor. Relax. And again. Anchor in the low core, lift the ribs. Press down through the palms and draw the breastbone away from the belly button. Shoulder blades pulling down the back of the back pocket. And then release. And one more time. Inner core, slide the ribs and lift. Now draw your ribs firmly together. We're going to bring the hands underneath the shoulders and lift up into a high cobra, almost an upward facing dog. Keep drawing the shoulders down the back, lift and open the chest, and now we're going to tuck your toes and go to a downward facing dog. We want to stretch the back first. Press your hands down to the floor and lift your sit bones up away from your hands. If you can't do that with your legs straight, let your knees be bent so you can really feel the length of the spine. And then if your hamstrings are quite tight, you can take one heel at a time down. Feel the stretch of the Achilles tendon. Okay, we're going to do a lunge. So take the right foot and bring it all the way forward between your hands. If you need to use your hands to get your leg there, that's fine. So hands are on the floor. Right foot is forward, and we're stretching back with the left heel, straightening across the front of the left thigh. So try to keep the chest open as you stretch the front of the thigh. This is not a big lumbar compression. We're just opening the chest and the front thigh. Okay, then let's go back to down dog. Push into the floor. Reach your sit bones towards the ceiling. Bend your knees if necessary. And then we're going to take the left foot forward. And then if you need to use your hand to guide your foot up there, that's fine. Breastbone open. Stretch through the right front thigh and reach your right heel back away from the crown of the head. Stretching the front right thigh. And then go back into downward facing dog. And bring your knees down to the floor. And we'll bring the hips back to the heels and stretch the back out. Bend your elbows. You can place your hands underneath your forehead or stretch them forward if you like. And then let's lift up from here and turn onto the left side. Straighten both legs out. Bring the feet a little forward of the hips and tilt your right hip forward. Place place your right hand on your right waist. Engage the inner core. Lift your organs up off of the floor and then raise both legs up. Maintain. Feel that wrapping around the hips and the lifting of the waist. And we'll slowly take one leg forward and one leg back. And then reverse it. Take your time so you're emphasizing the stretch. If you want to take your fingertips down on the mat, you can. Forward and back. Keep your ribs and your hips still. Do that twice more. And return to the center. Lower both legs down. And bend to 45-degree hip flexion. Tilt that right hip forward. Now we go in slow motion. Imagine you're moving through water. Engage the inner core and then slowly rotate the thigh out in the socket. And then we're going to drop the knee down and raise the foot up. And roll out. Do it in slow motion. Keep it as smooth as possible. And lower the knee down as you raise the foot. External rotation. Knee up, foot down. Internal rotation. Knee down, foot up. Let's do it twice more. Roll out. Remember the pelvis is stabilized. And then finish and relax both legs down. Now we're going to displace the left knee a little forward and push up into a mermaid sit. Let the right sit bone drop down, right hand on the right foot. And side bend, stretching the left side. Feel your breastbone lifting towards the ceiling. And then we'll bring the left forearm down. First, feel your right sit bone dropping towards the floor. And then reach your right arm up and over your ear, rotating the breastbone. Turn and look up. Breathe as you stretch. And then sit tall. Right hand to the left knee. Turn and look as far left as you can. And then turn and look as far right as you can. And come tall into the center. Swivel so that you're seated. And take the arms out in front of you. Scoop the belly and roll slowly down. One vertebra at a time. Then stretch both legs and both arms. Reach both arms up overhead. And then turn onto the right side. Top hand on the top waist, left hip slightly forward. Engage your inner core. Take your Oregon lift and lift both legs up. We're going to maintain. Keep thinking of your organs lifting up off of the floor. Your belt wrapping around your pelvis. So as we prepare to do the side kicks, where we're stabilizing is both the pelvis and the ribs. One leg forward, one leg back, and then switch. And try to do that without readjusting where you are in the pelvis or the ribs. Take your time. Fingertips can go onto the mat in front of you. Better to use that than to be unstable. And then we'll come into the center. Lower both legs down. And bend the knees to 45-degree hip flexion, just a comfortable hook lying position. Drop your left hip forward. Relax the waist, engage the inner core. Keep that left hip rocked forward. Stabilize with the inner core as you roll the left leg out in the socket. That lifts the left knee. Then roll it in the socket. That drops the left knee with the foot going up. And roll out, foot down, knee up. And roll in, knee down, foot up. Again, feel the rotation of the thigh. The movement of the knee is just the effect of what's going on in the hip joint. And relax. the right knee a little forward and come up. Left hand on the left foot. Feel your left sit bone dropping down towards the floor. And raise the right arm. Bend towards your left side. Spiraling the breastbone towards the ceiling. And then come tall. Going to reach the right elbow down to the mat. At the same time, reaching the left sit bone down, not touching, but reaching in that direction, and then stretch the left arm up and over. And turn the breastbone, look up. Breathe into the stretch. And then sit tall. We'll bring the left hand to the right knee. And turn to look as far over the right shoulder as you can. And then turn and look as far over the left shoulder as you can. And then unwind and turn so you're sitting with both legs out in front of you. Bend the knees a little bit if you need to. Inhale and reach the arms straight up. Draw the belly into the spine. Feel that inner core working. And then drape yourself forward. Don't reach forward with the arms. You want to keep the shoulders easy. Reach forward with the breastbone and relax the neck and shoulders. Elbows are dropped. You're only touching the feet if you can keep your elbows bent and your shoulders relaxed. So it's a couple different stretches here. You want to feel stretch between the tailbone and the low ribs, so in the space of the lumbar. You want to feel stretch in the backs of the legs. If you flex your feet back, you feel stretch in the Achilles tendon as well. Soft in the neck and shoulders and upper back. Not too much stretch there. And then sit tall. And we're going to roll just part way down. Scoop the belly and feel your ribs reach. You're knitting around to the opposite back pocket. Keep your feet on the floor and roll partially back. Now you're only going to go back as far as you can with the feet on the floor and the shoulders relaxed, and then you breathe. Scoop the belly into the spine, soften the shoulders. Now keep the shoulders relaxed. In fact, cross your hands so that they're touching the opposite shoulders and come up without pulling your shoulders forward. And then just go into a simple forward bend again. Shoulders relaxed. Feeling a stretch up the back of the body. In the lower back, in the back ribs, in the back of the ankles, but not overstretching the upper back. Feel the breastbone moving forward away from the belly button, the crown of the head reaching away from the tailbone. And then sit tall again. Scoop the belly, and we'll roll again, partially back. You can have your arms forward or higher if you want more challenge. Keep the feet on the floor. Find a place where you're challenged, but you can stabilize it. Scoop the belly in. Think your wrists wrapping around the opposite back pockets. Easy shoulders. And cross the arms so the hands are on the opposite shoulder and come up without pulling the shoulders forward. And then leaning into the forward bend once again. And then sit tall. We'll lengthen up through the arms. Find the pelvic floor, the belt, the ribs knitting to the opposite back pockets. Scoop the belly, and we're going part way down again. Feet staying on the floor. Navel to spine. Then let the arms come forward and go down as slowly as you can. We're going all the way down onto the back now, as slowly and specifically as you can. Once the head's down, reach your arms all the way up and back. And then let's bring both knees into the chest. And rock them from side to side gently. Come into the center and gently pull the knees in towards the chest, and then move the knees away from the chest. So we're going from a flat back as we pull the knees in, into a neutral back as we move the knees away. One more time. And lower the feet, returning to constructive rest pose. Arms wide, palms up. Relax down into the pull of gravity. And that's where we're going to leave it. So hope you had a nice thunderstorm where you are too. To get up out of this posture, I'd like you to please turn over onto your side. Use your fingertips and lever yourself up. That way you're not yanking on your hip flexors after we just did all that nice stretching. So have a beautiful rest of the night. Feels like it cooled down quite a bit. Enjoy. Thanks. I won't be here next Wednesday, but of course there are many classes from the past that you can access if you like. All right, please sign in, and I'll see you for yoga tomorrow. And Pilates is going to be on Friday morning this week and not Saturday. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.